In preparation for patch 7.3, when you enter Dalaran in the Broken Isles, a quest known as Whispers of a Frightened World will appear, which sends you to Sholazar Basin of Northrend. Note that should you drop this quest or abandon it, it can be obtained again from Khadgar in Dalaran. The quickest way to reach Northrend is to take the portal in the center of Dalaran to the Chamber of the Guardian. Proceed straight through the portrait room down the steps until you reach a room full of portals. Take the Wyrmrest Temple portal that will be directly ahead of the entrance. This portal will drop you off in Dragonblight, the central zone of Northrend. You'll need to head northwest into Sholazar Basin for the next step of this quest. As you enter the zone, the next objective will be complete, and you'll need to head over to the eastern side of the zone. Using a flying mount, enter the Maker's Overlook, which is above the surface of the zone along the mountain range. Proceed straight ahead to the back room of the Maker's Overlook. Once in this room, you'll need to right-click 3 of the 6 conduits that can be seen on the ground. Once you have done so, right-click the Teleportation Pad found in the center of the room to enter a scenario. This scenario is rather short and uncomplicated. Go forward and defeat 7 enemies that will spawn around the first room. The enemies that you'll find here are of different sizes and shapes, but they're all veiled in sort of a shadowy effect. Just defeat 7, then you can move on to the next room. When this step is completed, a door to the north will open, which is where you'll need to head next to right-click 4 damaged constructs that can be found on the north, south, east, and west side of the room. Defeat the enemies cloaked in shadow as you move around the room, as if they attack you when trying to repair a construct, you'll be interrupted. Just so you know what you're looking for, the damaged constructs look like stone soldiers. Once you interact with the 4th construct to repair it, an elite enemy known as the Amalgam of Torment will spawn on the northern side of the room. Defeat this enemy to move on to the final stage of the scenario. This enemy is not particularly difficult, but be sure to mind your footing for purple effects which will deal heavy damage if you stand within them. Head to the northernmost room of the scenario to find Magni Bronzebeard. Despite the fact that it looks like there is no floor in this room, rest assured that there is. After some dialogue, you'll be able to interact with Magni and select the dialogue option to cause Azeroth to speak directly with Magni Bronzebeard. Just to make sure I don't spoil it for anyone, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what happens, but I'll wait a few seconds in case you don't want to hear it. You can pause now. Azeroth, which is a Titan, is warning Magni Bronzebeard about the coming of Sargeras, and that the people of Azeroth must head to Argus, the demon homeworld, which is also a Titan, for their next step against the Legion. Once the dialogue is complete, Magni will head to the northern side of the room and activate a console, which will create a teleportation pad that will return you to Dalaran. You'll need to wait a few seconds for Magni to finish up everything he has to say before you can use it, but once you can, just right-click it and you'll be teleported to the Violet Citadel. Head up the steps in front of you and speak with Archmage Khadgar to turn in this quest and to receive a nice artifact power item.